our dear listeners of 93.1 IUFM, our participants from both sides, that's Hamdan and Mount Masaba, our dear judge, the teachers from both parties. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I kindly welcome you all on this debate, the second session. The first session was there in the morning from 10, so this is the second one from 2. This debate, it's under the theme, Empowering the Next Generation, Navigating Uganda's Digital, Economic and Social Frontiers. The debate, or the format under which the debate is following, is the World Schools Debate. My name is Nekisa Zabura Vanessa, and I'm together with my co-host or co-MC.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Amos Wadada Akram, and the co-host of the show. Well, I would like to begin by introducing the two antagonistic bodies, or the two schools which are going to clash. We are calling it the Clash of the Titans. Debate is a battle of words, so you're welcome to the Clash of the Titans. This is the 2025 Secondary School Debate Championship at IUIU, and it is the 3rd edition. Well, from the schools that we're having tonight in the debate, we're having Hamdan Girls in negation, and the first speaker we have Chilwende Mastula, we have Nandudu Abuswat, and Namfuma Aida. And the first speaker is from Senior 2, the second one is from Senior 4, and the third speaker is from Senior 6. On the other side, team affirmation, we have Mount Masaba High School, and these are the participants. Hamba Mulan, Senior 3, Wede Twaha, Senior 3, and Awede Crispus Lonye, Senior 4. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your names correctly, but I hope I did get them correctly.
Thank you so much, my dear co-host. In this debate, or the participants that are in this debate today, this is actually our 3rd day since we started, and right from Tuesday, since it's a debate, we have both the losers and the winners. For the winners, we have Mbale parents who, I call them unopposed.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah,
because we are debating.
Because the colleagues or maybe the other team didn't come. And we also have St. Mary's High School, Busamaga. It was also among the winners. We have Nakaloke Islamic Secondary School. We also have Ikiki High School and Nkoma SS that has just left the stage a few hours ago. Among the losers, we have Nkoma High that got 68%, Manapa High that got 63%, Bugema Comprehensive that got 76%, and Bilal Islamic High School that got 81%. For the losers, we have what we call best losers, and for the best losers are to come back here tomorrow so that they can again be given the second round. And for the best losers that we have so far, we have Bilal Islamic High School that has a percentage of 81, and also the other being Bugema Comprehensive with 76%. Those are the best losers that we have so far. So, my dear participants that we are having in the building, I want to assure you that if you happen to lose or win, inshallah, there is a chance that the best loser, if at all you win these guys that are among the list that I've just mentioned, you are likely to be considered the best loser so that you can come back here tomorrow and debate for the second round.
Okay, so it looks like today we are likely to have winners and winners either way, because you might win as the best loser and also win as the best team which has won the debate today. So I would like to begin by introducing still the motion today in the House, which is, should climate resilience clauses be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements? And it is Mount Masaba versus Hamdan Girls High School. I would like to first of all introduce the panel of judges to our dear listeners listening in to 93.1 IUFM, that the first chief judge of this particular debate today is Mr. Luwemba Musa, who is a lecturer and the lecturer and the faculty of social science, the head of department political science, and he is also the research coordinator in the faculty of social science, and he doubles as the coordinator seminar series. And we expect in a few months to be a PhD holder. So we are looking at, we are having a PhD holder, inshallah, as our chief judge tonight. And another one, we're having Mr. Mwanja Swamaru, and he is the in charge of international students, IU University. And we have the aspiring woman member of parliament, Mbale City, none other than Asena Halima, who is a journalist. She is a coordinator for the Eastern Youth. She is the speaker for the National Youth Parliament. She is still the advocate for the persons with disabilities, women and children, working with the this is AIRD. Then she is, like I said, the aspirant for the woman member of parliament, Mbale City. I will say that twice because I mean she needs your support. And she is a businesswoman working with dealing in motorcycle tires. So please, we are having actually very experienced people who have a background in the debate field and they know what they're doing. So there's two schools that are within this particular debate. Worry not, because you are going to be judged by people who are experienced and know what they're doing. So take their remarks and their judgment in good faith and in a good heart. Right.
Thank you so much. I'll right away call upon our chief judge to
All right. Thank you, worshipful judge, the two antagonistic parties, and the August House at large. I send you all greetings. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hamdan as the first affirmer from the affirmative side. Well, Duaha is our second affirmer, and Lone Brisbane is our third affirmer. Dear judges and August House, we are here as the team of affirmatives to debate on the resolution that states that should climate resilience clauses be embedded in sovereign loan agreements. The answer is yes. Why? Give me only 5 minutes. I'll be able to attack you the reasons why climate resilience clauses should be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements. Dear judges and panel, according to my philosophy and pedagogy, I explained this resolution. For example, the word climate. Climate is the regular weather patterns of our place. For example, it may be seasons. For example, have drought. Under climate also have climate changes. It may be the floods. Our dear judges, the word resilience. This means the ability to move all things that are unpleasant to make them better in a way that is leading. And in this case, we are to make the climate resilience be embedded in all the sovereign loan agreements. Dear judges, climate resilience is the ability of the system to recover all the impacts of climate change. We as team affirmatives, we are here to make sure that the resilience the climate resilience clauses are to be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements. Sovereign is being powerful, having greatest powers. Loan, this can be the money an organization lends to somebody. Dear judges, the word the agreement, it may be a contract. It is a contract that has been signed. For example, in this case, we are going to talk about what should be embedded in these agreements. For example, maybe when a country is borrowing the money, what should be the causes? What should be the cause of the money, and what should be included, or what should be included on those agreements? And in this case, we as the farmers believe that we are to include the climate resilience clauses in the sovereign loan agreements. Our dear judges, we as team affirmatives have set the parameter as the world, because these climate changes are present in the all over world. Our dear judges, our team name, we are the team name. We are here setting an action plan to make sure that capacity building of the climate is stable. Our dear judges, our implementer is the International Panel of Climate Changes. It is true that there are some countries that have signed in sovereign loan agreements. These countries, for example, we can remind ourselves on countries like Jamaica. We have countries like Dominica, we have Dubai, we have, for example, even our neighbor Rwanda. For example, in town in Kigali, there are climate resilience clauses that have been signed. Now, when in Kigali town, this is where the climate clauses emphasize the people to make sure that there is proper tally of the wastes compared to our town, for example, Bali and Kampala. Kigali is more smart, and therefore, we as the team affirmatives believe that we should embed the climate resilience clauses in the sovereign loan agreements. Our dear judges, there is a proverb that says that a good dog deserves a good bone, and indeed, the good climate resilience clauses deserve to give us a win. And here goes the roundup of our points. Our dear judges, we as the team affirmatives are here to promote sustainable development because of the resilience climate clauses. Our dear judges, we are also here to make sure that there is reduced long-term risk for lenders and borrowers when using the money. We are here also to encourage proactive climate action. We as team affirmatives are also here to believe to the August House that there should be global equity and shared responsibility. We as team affirmatives are also here to believe to the August House that the environmental imperative and global responsibility should be made effective. Let me highlight on the climate resilience clauses. What have they? Why should we embed them in sovereign loan agreements? Dear judges and panel, August House, ladies and gentlemen, these climate resilience clauses, they have promoted sustainable development. For example, when it assures lending the money considering the environmental risks, this will enable the lenders of the money and the borrowers to gain from from what they are lending and borrowing. How can those borrowing the money be able to benefit from it? For example, a country borrows the money, has an investment, has the project, and after some time, during the course of the project, the project happens to be attacked by, for example, floods. Dear judges, we are here. If the project is, for example, attacked by floods, this will cause a harm to the project and non-benefit. We have also lived a case study of the Caribbean catastrophe risk insurance facility, where the Caribbean nations were attacked by hurricanes and floods. They got tied to the Caribbean catastrophe risk insurance facility to make sure that they get some loans so that they can overcome the disasters that has happened. And our dear judges, what can we benefit from this? The Caribbean nations, for example, Jamaica and Dominica, recovered from the natural calamities, disasters, that is hurricanes and floods. Our dear judges, we are also here to believe to the House that the climate resilience clauses and to reduce the long-term risk for lenders and the borrowers. I beg to rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Hamdan, a senior 3 student from Mount Masaba High. It's time for cross-examination.
Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to recognize the team of judges. Our dear farmers, you came up and talked of development. This money is being given to all countries, whereby not that all countries are facing the same risks of climate. So tell me, how is this money going to benefit a country that is not facing these risks? This money comes up with agreements. You sign and agree it's going to be used for climate, to improve the climate, yet you're not having any risk about climate. So what are you going to use this money for? Yet it is a must to have use it over climate.
According to my explanation of the word agreement, I explained it as a contract made with somebody. When a country borrows money, I said in my speech that it can use it for an investment, a project, and
but you call a question is saying all sovereign loan agreements. So why are you now saying that it's only some others?
Okay. I'm answering you. Why in all sovereign loan agreements? This is to make sure that the climate we stay in is stable, is economically stable and favoring. For example,
saying that not that all countries are facing floods, are facing earthquakes. So that country that's not facing, and some countries may be facing, but they are developed enough to help themselves. So how are they going to benefit from these loans?
Remember, today it may be at my home and tomorrow it may be at your home. A country may face floods and hurricanes when it is at a poor place.
But because this money comes and we are paying interest as time goes, shall we wait until the time we shall get earthquakes?
Until the time we get earthquakes, you can get that money. You use it to plant trees. And we make sure that these trees will ensure rain formation. For example, rain is falling right now.
And as the money comes, yet already we are not facing any. Interest is being calculated. How are we going to benefit from the money?
How are you going to benefit from the money? The money is set to make sure that the climate is conserved.
Enough, they can conserve themselves without this money.
Countries that have developed are developed because of signing Omuseni.
Time is up. Thank you so much, Honorable Hamdan, being cross-examined by Nadudu Kapswat from Hamdan Girls. We shall right away go to our first negator from Hamdan Girls High School, none other than Tibwinde Mastula. You're welcome.
Thank you. Recognize the table of judges, the two competitive bodies, the patrons around, plus the audience. A very good afternoon. My name is Tiwendi Mastula. Alongside, I'm with my colleague Nandudu Hafswat as the second negator and Nafuma Aida as the third negator. We are here to negate the resolution that says that should climate resilience clauses be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements, and as the negators, we say no, they should not be embedded. First and foremost, I would like to break down the key points in the resolution. Climate. The climate is the regular pattern of weather conditions of a particular place. Resilience. Climate has types, and we have equatorial climate, desert climate, and so many more. Resilience, the ability of people or things to recover quickly from something unpleasant. Clauses, an item in a legal document that says that a particular thing must or must not be done. In simple terms, climate resilience is the ability of people, communities, ecosystems, or countries to prepare for, respond to, and to recover from impacts of climate changes like floods, drought, earthquakes, world bushfires without suffering for long-term damage. Embedded means included. And another thing is climate resilience clauses are clauses that are embedded that are added to individual loan contracts that allow countries to temporarily sustain climate risks. So it is sovereign loan agreements, official borrowing contracts between a sovereign state and a lender, which can be, this lender can be a foreign government, an international institution, for example, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and so many more, private sector lenders, like commercial banks. Now, these agreements outline terms when they are giving their loans to countries, and the terms may include the amount they are going to give you, the period in which you must pay that amount, the conditions, or you must pay this, you must use this amount for what purpose. And we have some types of sovereign loan agreements, like concession loans. These are loans below market interests. They are usually found in development banks and donor governments. Commercial loans, these are market-based rates, usually from private lenders or bond markets. Therefore, in simple terms, the resolution is asking whether climate protection preparedness should be included in a condition or requirement in official loans that countries or governments make with lenders like the World Bank, IMF, or others. After explaining the key terms of the resolution, I would like to give our points why we say that climate resilience clauses should not be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements. And before that, our dear farmers, I would like to tell you that stop advancing simple reasoning without logic, because all of us will know these climate clauses are not beneficial to embed them in sovereign loan agreements because of the following points. Not all countries have the same risks, because there are some countries which are not affected by floods, drought, because like in Uganda, we give an example of Uganda. Have you ever seen floods coming to Uganda? And if they come, they are very rare. Earthquakes are very rare. How long has it taken before earthquakes come to Uganda? So not all countries face the same risks. And if these sovereign loan agreements, if these climate clauses are embedded in sovereign loan agreements, they are going to be a must for all countries to get them. And if all countries get them, they're not going to be beneficial to them if they don't face the same risks, being that we are not all going to benefit from these agreements, from these loans. High threats for corruption. Now, if we come to corruption, we are meaning that if a country gets these loans, maybe it does not have much, or it's not properly supervised, this money is not properly supervised, the money may suddenly disappear in a country. Now, people are going to start asking themselves, where has the money gone, leading to corruption? May increase costs and delays. Climate resilient projects often require more planning, technical skills, and upfront costs. This can delay access to urgently needed funds, especially in poor countries or undeveloped countries with limited capacity. If we come to delays, we mean that because of these climate resilient projects needing very much planning, technical skills, and upfront costs, a country which is not very developed, it's going to plan very slowly, and it may be in need of that money urgently, maybe it has been affected by that. Now, the more this country delays to plan, is the more they are going to delay to give it the loan. If it's going to be in a very good need of it, therefore the agreements are not really needed. And the costs, a country may be there when it's not having those risks very much. If now these loan agreements are good when they are amassed to all countries, a country which is not affected by the risks, it's going to be not benefiting, because the terms they use is that if the lender is borrowing you, he tells you, my money, you must use it for climate resilient projects. Now, you must not put it, a country may be there when it's very good when it comes to climate conditions, but it's very poor when it comes to health and education. The money it's been given is for only climate. Now, this money is not going to be beneficial to the country, and the more the time increases, is the more the interests are what? Is the more the interests increase, the money is going to be there like a dummy, like a statue, not having any use, and then the interests are going to be very high. It's going to be causing very high costs to the country. And if I'm to compliment, one of the farmers said that,
You have 1 minute.
one of the farmers said that these countries signed some sovereign loan agreements, but you didn't classify for us which loan agreements do they sign. Which means that you never sat well about that debate, you never sat well about the resolution, you didn't know very much, so you would have told us which types of loan agreements do they sign to come and assure us, when even ask your opponents, can be contended that these are the agreements they sign. And those agreements, you would have told us that they are either concession loans or commercial loan agreements. Then we would have read that they sign loan agreements, but for you ended as loan agreements. Which loan agreements? Therefore, my dear farmers, next time better make good research.
Time is up.
Allow me to rest my case.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kumwende Mastura, the negator. It's time for cross-examination.
Thank you for granting me this opportunity of cross-examination. Now, this goes to the negator. What is your main aim as far as your opposition side is concerned in reference to the resolution?
We are to get oppose the resolution that says that climate resilience clauses should be embedded in all sovereign agreements.
Have you seen countries where these agreements, these climate resilience clauses have been embedded?
My dear Afama, let me tell you, I'm opposing the resolution first, and the second thing is,
before you continue, my question was very clear, and it required a yes or no answer. Ask you, have you seen countries where those climate clauses have been embedded?
yes,
If yes, are they of a benefit or not?
they are not of a really benefit.
That means that you are not sure of what you are talking about.
I'm very sure.
Give a country of Rwanda, you have not made enough research. Because in Rwanda, there has been implemented climate clauses
Which climate clauses?
like putting the dustbins along the roads. If you go to its capital state, you will find it very clean because of such.
Which evidence do you have to convince me that those rubbish pits have been put after signing loan agreements?
That's why I'm clearly elaborating. They have been
Elaborate.
put because
Which evidence are you having to convince
it
me
is from
that
the
those
World Bank.
dustbins? You give me evidence to know that it's from the World Bank.
From the
Because
World
it would be that a country saw when its communities are suffering from rubbish, then it said that let us put dustbins all over. You don't have evidence. No, a country like Uganda can do it. Even in schools, you want to say that if your school sees rubbish all over, we'll just tell you, then you get everywhere to dump that rubbish. Even though I'm defending myself, please. I'm defending myself. I'm trying to assure you that you are trying to, that you even want to lie me. How are you sure that Rwanda, those rubbish pits put all over, were put after signing sovereign government? Give me evidence. Give me evidence.
That's why.
That was a wonderful engagement. However interesting it is, we do not encourage that kind of exchange of words. When you're asking, it is a cross examination. Expect to ask and you'll be answered. So don't, it looks like you're in the market again. Otherwise, let's nevertheless, the debate is now picking up the heat, and I believe everyone where you're seated, you're feeling the heat, as in the house is now on fire. So right away, allow me call on to the next, the second farmer, who is none other than Wele Twaha from Senior 3, that is Mount Masaba High School. The podium is all yours.
Thank you, dear Judge, panel and August House for this opportunity granted. Dear Judge, you can observe the negators very quiet. You may wonder why they are quiet. It's because they know we have a better argument. Dear Judge, before I go any further, the negator one pointed out that not all countries face the same risks, like floods, countries, claiming that all countries don't face the same risks. Now, dear Judge, and dear Judge, panel August House, since all countries don't face the same risks, do you think we should just keep quiet and first wait for our neighbors to suffer the same risks like these countries are suffering? And therefore, dear Judge, I therefore disagree with them at that point. They also claim that high threats of corruption, that their countries may use the money because of the corruption in them. Dear Judge, the work of the World Bank and other financial institutions is to ensure that it gives loans. Because for you come for a loan, since you have already elaborated your project, it is there said you come for a loan. And therefore, since you have come for a loan, it is not the work of the World Bank to ensure that it is not the work. I'm sorry. It is not the work of the World Bank, which is governments, to prioritize climate. Dear Judge, prioritizing climate will make everyone enjoy his or her environment. Dear Judge, do you feel staying in an environment which is not safe for you? Dear Judge, a safe environment is an environment worth to invest in. Dear Judge, I do give a case study of the World Bank Climate Resilience Development Programs in Mozambique. How is this? How did it happen? After major cyclones in Mozambique, the World Bank of Mozambique included loans required. The world resisting houses. What were these? These were to help impact on the fact that they will not suffer again the cyclones they suffered at first. That means that was a barrier to protect them. Dear Judge, we also do point out that global equity and shared responsibility. What am I meaning in this case is that climate resilience clauses being embedded in all sovereign loan agreements with financial flows with shared climate goals. Now, dear Judge, if these clauses have been embedded in all sovereign loan agreements, we shall be in position to cater for the environment, since each and every project that is put in place will at least include a case study of the World Bank and the EBRD climate resilience debate process, which was ongoing by the mid-2024. Dear Judge, the World Bank now includes the climate resilience development clauses in all of its new loans to small state economies. Dear Judge, this helps in improving and preserving our environment. Dear Judge, countries are also in position to have safe environments and safe climate to stay. Though the negators are claiming that, they might use the money, that they don't have such risks, and therefore, Judge, we won't allow that, because what some other countries are suffering. Dear Judge, we also inform the opposite house that embedding climate clauses in climate resilience clauses being embedded in all sovereign loan agreements enhances economic development. Dear Judge, what are we meaning in this case? Economies that plan for resilience are less likely to suffer from problems of climate. Dear Judge, I do give a case study of borrowing from that. This discourages borrowing, claiming that terms and conditions are put, since you have gone to borrow, terms and conditions have been included. That means that we are discouraging them from borrowing. Dear Judge, if for us as their farmers, do agree with that. If they don't borrow, that means they will take care of themselves and they will work hard to ensure that their climate is put in a clear position by themselves. Therefore, dear Judge, saying that we have put terms and conditions discouraging them or giving them hard time to use our loan, dear Judge, we support that, because they will be in a position to support themselves, since they will know that they are completely independent. Dear Judge, I do thank you for your time. I rest my case.
Thank you so much for managing your time. In fact, I was just going to warn you, but then you showed me that you're done with your views. It is time for cross-examination. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity granted. First of all, I would like to apologize for our late arrival due to the prevailing circumstances. My name is Nafma Aida from Hamdan High School. Our dear farmer, you come up and tell us how you prioritize climate in the countries by embedding climate resilience clauses in all sovereign loan agreements. But how sure are you that it is only climate risks as a problem in that country? Don't forget, these climate resilience clauses, while being embedded in all these sovereign loan countries, are particularly for climate. So you coming up and telling us like that, how sure are you that it is only climate that requires that?
Yeah, according to my explanation, the resolution clearly elaborates that should climate resilience clauses be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements. For us, our concern is not the other challenges facing the country, but our challenge and our concern is that for us, we are caring about the environment. We don't know and we don't want to know what other.
Then that means you're ready to die. Because if you just want to take care of only one risk, then what are other risks going to, how are other risks going to be helped, or how are they going to be solved? The next thing, how you are telling us how you will set up projects. First of all, you told us about the projects. But which projects are you talking about? How sure are you that these countries that you're talking about had to include the climate resilience loan clauses in their sovereign loan agreements? Because when we talk of sovereign loan agreements, we are talking about all the agreements of a given country. So how sure are you that the countries you're giving us as examples included these clauses in their loan agreements?
Yeah, if the negator was very attentive in my explanation, I was giving case studies where these sovereign loan agreements have been used. But if the negator was dosing, that is not my case.
That's not dosing, because the loan agreements you're talking about, one of the examples you gave us is industrialization. Industrialization, if you recall well, the only thing you told us was building the flood walls, whereby the flood walls you're talking about may not even happen oftenly in a given country. That's why one of my farmers told you that it is not a risk for all countries to have the same thing. So you're talking about economic development in a given country. So you're only developing climate, then the rest what is happening to them.
Please allow me to respond to you. Here, it is evident that the negator was really hungry, maybe, because I tried to elaborate and give 3 cases, but was not in position to pick out one of the floodgates. I don't know what is wrong with her. Continue on.
There is nothing wrong, but just because the fact that you can't clarify yourself to us, that's the reason, that's why you're turning the burden to me. But don't worry, we shall solve that case for you.
Thank you, dear Judge Panel on the August.
Alright. Welcome back from that wonderful interaction and cross-examination. It was really a good one. And like I said, the house is on fire. Right away, let's welcome the second negator, none other than Nandudu Hapswat from Senior Pop Hamdan Girls. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. I want to recognize the table of judges and the 2 competing bodies. We still stand stiff and say climate resilience clauses should not be embedded in all sovereign loan agreements. You have done so much to convince us that there are some countries which have signed these loans and are benefiting. My dear, why did you tell me about our own Uganda? Where is it in this? I have here evidence, and it is Uganda has mobilized over $76 million for climate resilience projects in the past decade, but delays in implementation, weak monitoring, and limited transparency has been recurring. My dear, we went for this money. 76 millions. Bududa, they are still experiencing landslides. Bulambul, there's some problem. Where did the money go? How is it then developing Uganda or being helpful to Uganda? Where is the money? So I think your point of development does not stand at this point, because you can't tell me you're only identifying Uganda, your neighbor, you're not caring about what's happening in your own house. Here in Uganda, we're not benefiting from this money at all. We are still facing landslides. And then one of the negators comes and says that this you only care about climate. Should we have good climate, But when our people are suffering from other diseases, you say development. Only climate can develop a country. Only climate can develop a country without other sectors. I think you should correct that, because you can't tell me that having good climate, that one will help health. Look at health. How is it going to then be helped? Look at education. Will you tell me that having good trees and want to go and buy chalk in school? I think I therefore then add on some points. We still stand stiff and say climate resilience clauses should not be embedded in sovereign loan agreements. One of my farmer came, our first negator, gave all our points, and in them she said, high threats for corruption in case there is weak governance structures. Here, there is lack of monitoring, auditing, and emergency loopholes. This money is coming. Like I said at first, not that all these countries are in need of this money. And the second negative said it very well, that some countries can help themselves, if I'm not mistaken. Hope you know that I was sleeping to miss hearing. You said some countries can help themselves. So those which are helping themselves, how are they going to benefit from this money? Already I have money, again you're giving me money. Yes, it is coming with interest. Am I just not going to go make losses? Because it's coming with interest. Tell me, how is it going to be helpful to me? And on this, there is evidence that says 2020 Climate Finance Tracking Study found that many adaptation projects lacked clear links to climate vulnerability, raising concerns about whether funds were being used as intended.
Want to first call. We don't know actually. I want to first. We are going down to that moment of breaking hearts where we are now from debating and you're waiting which team is taking, which team is not taking. But that is best known by our dear judges. And
before our judges come in, I would like to acknowledge our sponsors once again, who include Akaji Unaku Online, Hilltop View, IU Nursing School, ICE Government, Honorable Karim Masaba, Health Spring Care Center, Abra Supermarket, and Camp Gurajab. In this debate, we've had two schools, and that is Hamdan Girls High School being the negators, including Tiwinde Mastula, a senior 2 student, Nandudu Hafswat, a senior 4 student, and Nafuma Aida, a senior 6 student. The second school being Mount Masaba High School, being the affirmatives, including Hamba Mulan, a senior 3 student, Were Twaha, a senior 3 student, and Kawale Crispus Lonye, a senior 4 student. I would like to right away call upon our dear judge to give us his remarks, and I will start with Mr. Somad. Mr. Somad, the floor is yours.
Okay. That is climate change. So it is very important. Our theme topic motion was, should we include climate resilience clauses when states, because we are looking at sovereign loan agreements. So we only have states as sovereign powers. So should we include climate resilience clauses? This is so important because from my observation, we got caught up with 2 different issues. Climate resilient clauses and loans to fight climate change. So these are 2 different issues. I'll make a very general observation. For example, from one school they told us how should be Mozambique. got loan to build flood-resistant houses. That loan does not qualify the motion of discussion. That is a loan to fight climate change, not climate resilience clauses. These ones just need, for every loan you are going to take, there should be that clause. If you are going just to take a loan to construct a hospital, they have to include, for example, you are building the International Specialized Hospital at Logoa. So if we are going to take a loan to build that hospital, it has to be, that is now the clause we are looking at, not particularly the clauses, the loans to fight climate change. So I thought that because the problem to me was about how we are going to conceptualize the whole motion or topic. So we've spent a lot of time centering our discussion on the loans to fight climate change. That's why you are giving us examples of Rwanda and the clean city of Kigali, and then we got caught up within that. And then when we were discussing, we learned examples, real life examples. For example, you know Uganda got oil. Students of geography know that we have in the Albertine Graben, we have oil, and then we are constructing what we call the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACO. And I know because of the fact that we are Ugandans, we have seen people demonstrating outside at the European Parliament. We have seen that initially the project was given to Total. And because of the pressure of these people of France, the French, Total had to withdraw from the deal to construct the crude oil pipeline, this African crude oil pipeline from Uganda to Tanzania. So this is the reason why the French and the European members were saying we can crude oil, actually the use of oil and petroleum is very dangerous for our environment and climate. So this case, Uganda is not getting loans to fight climate change, but it is getting a loan to do infrastructure development. But because of this element that we have to make our development sustainable, in 2017 around there, they put out the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And the goal, one of the goals, particularly this motion, is the responsible consumption and production. So I thought that maybe if we had a discussion around that, it was going to be so very good. And then the other observation, I'm making general observations for both teams. We forgot to understand the very, very well concept of globalization. I liked when my sisters from Hamdan said that every person is having their own problem. Then where is the element of globalization? The very element that the floods happening in Haiti may not be necessarily as a result of the people in Haiti being irresponsible, but because someone in Uganda allowed, for example, Mwanja Industrial Park to be built in a wetland, and we are giving out a lot of green emissions in the atmosphere. So because of that, people in Haiti are having those floods. Maybe because the rains in Bududa may not be a result of the irresponsibility tendencies, the responsible tendencies of people in Uganda. Maybe someone in Uganda is banning a lot of things in Uganda, which has affected the ozone layer to affect the rains in Uganda. So that is the element of globalization in climate change. So as we were arguing, we forgot that. And then lastly, with climate change and climate resilience clauses, we have international climate change agreements. It is so unfortunate that none of us tried to give us those examples. The Kyoto Protocol on climate change, the Rio Roundtable discussions on climate change, and the most recent one, the Paris Agreement on climate change. Because it is because of that, the Paris Agreement on climate change, we have that the motion. It was resolved that every loan to be given out to a state should be at least within the framework of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That is now the climate resilience goals. We give you the money, but you have to give us a plan on how it is not going to impact the environment in a negative way. So I thought that maybe it was going to be very good for us to first define what is sustainable development. Because as you try to urge out sustainable development, you have to tell us, how are you going to sustain and give solutions to present problems, but without tampering with what is going to happen to your children? So that was very important. Nonetheless, I liked the topic, I liked the discussion, and I want to congratulate all of you for having the energy to come and talk about climate change. Remember about the resolutions made at Baku conference on climate change, which happened last year around November, December. The resolution was we should include youth to be champions of climate change. So you were on a red track, don't get demoralized if you won.
At least debate. So we are going to be giving general views. Today we are not going to be speaking to each of you because we are out of time. So please take note of these things that are going to be told to you, okay? So allow me point out something very special that I note about you. It is not special but not good. All of you did not practice very well. I saw some of you fidgeting even the definition of exactly what you're going to talk about. If you do not practice well, it gives you that fearing mood and you do not always speak out very well. So we don't get to understand what you're talking about. You go forth back speaking, reading from the paper. So it's always good to take time to do what? To practice. Give clear definitions. Once you understand the topic you're discussing, it will give you more work and it will give you courage to be speaking. And another thing that I saw, almost honorables were going to exchange blows. That moment was really interesting. Refute positively. If you ask a question and you do not understand it, no one is going to beat you if you do not answer it. You neglect or you refuse. Okay, honorables? If you don't understand what I said, dear honorable, I don't understand that question. Next. No one is going to even question you for that. So you will end up giving us wrong answers and will ending up giving you marks that are not good or not understanding what you're doing. Oh, this goes to all of you because I saw all of you wanted to do this in front of us. We're almost running outside. And keep contact. Honorables, when we are communicating, we always keep what? Contact. We always look at the people we are talking to. We have the audience behind us. Assume as the judges are not here, you have the people listening to you. Okay? So you should always keep looking at them. If you keep looking at the, is it what? The roof. And you're looking at your shoes. You have nice shoes, but look at us. We want to see this beautiful girl speaking. We want to see this young man. Dear judge, dear this. Huh? You see that? What is that? I mean the repetition. It keeps it boring, okay? You always address all of us. I sure the judges are not here. So even your fellow students seated at the back are the dear judges. They feel out of place. So we say, dear honorable members, okay? It's very good. So for us, the judges are there to see you, but we don't want you to be addressing us every time, dear judge, dear judge, dear judge. Oh my God. It was good, but it was too much. And also, going back to the content, always look at the local content, like local examples. You're rushing to Mozambique, yet we have also climate problems here in Uganda. It will give us that our students are being taught exactly what is happening in the country. If you bring up examples from outside, that shows the teachers are more concentrating outside, living their own what? Country. So it is good to always look at what is happening in the country before you go outside. So thank you very much for coming. My name is Asina Halima. I want to thank the teachers. Please keep training our children because we want to have future presidents, future MPs, future debaters coming up from Hamdan girls, from Mount Masaba. Thank you so much once again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right. Thank you so much. Our aspiring woman member of parliament, I said that I will re-echo because yeah, we need the votes.
Yeah.
And that being said, I'd like to introduce, usher in the chief judge of this particular debate, none other than Mr. Luwemba, to come and give the final remarks and the verdict to see which team has won this particular debate round.
Thank you very much, dear MC and colleagues in the room. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and good evening everyone. I thank the members for having put up such a wonderful show. And I think it is really that particular stage to be able to stand before the members and surely defend your positions. There isn't anyone any less of the rest of the members. So we thank you for that. We are short of time, so I'll try and make it as brief as possible. My colleague has dwelled so much on the theme of the day. And I'll just echo out one issue, that some of the terms in the theme were too important that we needed to give it an extra attention compared to other concepts. The issue of climate resilience clauses, like he has told you, it is not that we are so much focusing on climate change. Because what is a clause? If you look at the Constitution, it has articles, then it has clauses. So clauses are an explanation of what the key articles in the Constitution, for example, are about to so much make them now clear. Now, in this case, when we talk about loan agreements, then whatever assertion you talk about Paris, Kyoto, and the rest, it means that if we are to get any sort of support in form of a loan, the point now is, can you show that one, this loan is not in any way going to impact sustainably on the environment? If you say you are getting money to build a hospital, can you show that indeed in the future, which is what we call sustainable development, we do not anticipate that we are going to get effects on the environment accruing out of the loan that you got from somewhere? So that is something that should come out clearly in the agreement that we sign, that yes, as you give me this money, this is my plan. If you are going to build a factory or an industry, and you show that indeed it is not in any way going to impact on the environment. That notwithstanding, one, the issue of, colleagues have talked about the issue of reading verbatim. I think that came out on several occasions, so at least let us try to have talking points. Okay, I could see that everyone here is in position of having a talking point, a list of just points, and then you face the audience, you explain to them as you refer. So colleagues who were reading verbatim, I think they missed out something on that. And then a member said there are no floods in Uganda. I don't know whether that is true. Not all countries have the same risks. Are we looking at the risks? My colleague has told you that what you do here, actually, it might not even affect you before it affects someone else in another environment or another space. So we do not have to assume that what we see here is actually because of what we do here. So to assume that we do not have risks here is to make a wrong assumption to that effect. And then every time we refute a view from the other colleagues, we should have an alternative view. So if you say that they were wrong to say X, Y, Z, then you should tell the audience what was supposed to be the right thing to say. If you leave it at saying that they were wrong, then we'll also leave a question to you as to what would have been probably your viewpoint, so that you qualify yourself. Then when we use abbreviations on first time, we should explain them to the colleagues. I remember talked about EBRB, WB, World Bank, and the rest. You do not have to make an assumption that everyone in the room will actually understand what you are talking about. Still, it is not just the oral, but even when it is writing, you use it at first time, you must explain it. Then later on, you can use it, because then people will have been acquainted with the same. Then, as we rebuttal, we always find a polite way of how to respond when we know or even when we do not know. So when we say that I think you were sleeping, I think the negator was hungry or hungry, I think that might not be the most proper language as a matter of respect to the other colleagues. Then whenever we cite evidence and whenever we use evidence, any sort of evidence, we should make sure that we cite it for each and everyone in the room to understand. Climate risks not happening every day. What about the effects of those of the climate? Are you sure that what we are going through today, think about global warming, is a result of what was done today? So when we say that the risks do not happen today, so we do not need any support at that particular point, then you are equating these risks to the fact that it is out of what these everyday activities. Yet some of the things some of the challenges we are facing today related to the environment might actually be of so many years back. But because this is recurrent, it means that at the end of the day, even the effects of the same require themselves into the future. If resilience is good, why not include it in the loan agreements? I think somehow we missed a point there that this motion is coming from the background my colleague has talked about, Paris, Kyoto, and the rest. So if we are here now saying that whenever we sign any loan agreements, let us put in the issue of climate resilience. It is not just the motion that people have just thought about, but it is coming from somewhere. So for us to say that why is it not then included in the loan agreements is to miss out a point that it is now being emphasized that whenever we want any form of support, we should show. And we show that by appending that yes, I attest that I will, that this project, which is supported by this loan, is not in any way going to affect the environment. So in the future, that the essence of the attestation is that in the future, whenever there are issues, then we can refer back to the agreement, and we say that in the most sovereign way, and of course there was also an issue with the concept of sovereignty, but in the most sovereign way you said that there won't be any problems arising out of this. It means that whatever the problem, you must find a way of solving it because you attested that there won't be any after effects to the same. Contact with the audience, my colleagues have talked about it. The dear judge, I think, is also known to consider the other members in the room So dear honorables, dear colleagues, no one will have a problem with that, but it is as if the assumption is that maybe it is only the members on the table that matter, which is actually not the right assumption. I think all in all, to cut the story short, it was a good show, and I congratulate the members. Take heart that even when you were not the best in terms of mark, have it in mind that you are the best in terms of the words. And let this be the zeal for you to practice and to become better. Back to the assessment. At the start, I showed you a paper like this that we used for assessment. And the assessment is independent. Each and every member this afternoon has had 2 papers. And none of the members has looked at the mark of the other up to the time when the member submits for the computation. So we've come up with figures, and I'll read every detail of the figures so that we internalize them and we understand where our totals are coming from. To start with, Mount Masaba, Judge 1 had 50. He also had 67 and 58. Remember, we said each person is assessed out of 100. So you have 50, you have 67, you have 58. This gives you a total of 175. Another judge had 57 plus 74 plus 51, totaling to 182. Another judge had 78 plus 84 plus 71, totaling to 233. When you add 175 plus 182 plus 233, you get a total of 590 out of 900. Hamdan, Judge 1 had 68 plus 79 plus 75 to give a total of 222. Another judge had 73 plus 78 plus 73 to give a total of 224. And another judge had 87 plus 87 plus 83 to give a total of 257. When you add 222 plus 224 plus 257, you get a total of 703. Summarily, Hamdan emerges as the victor with 703 points out of 900. I thank you very much for participating, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Congratulations, Hamdan Girls High School. You know, a debate is like a struggle. And after you win, it's really a wonderful thing. For the losers, I would ask you or request you not to lose hope, because the things happen. No, I'm not being a motivational speaker, please.
You're encouraging the debaters to actually.
We don't have losers, actually.
We have winners and winners and winners.
Yeah, only check the pronunciation. Winners and winners.
Winners.
Yeah, winners. Just that.
So who are the winners? Who are the winners?
The ones that the judge announces as the victor, they are the winners. Then the ones that
we started on Tuesday with a group of schools, including Mbale Parents, Mbale Progressive, St. Mary's, Nakaloke, Ikiki, and Nkoma SS, Nkoma High, Manafa, Bugema Comp, and Bilal. Among these, there were losers and winners. But of course, we congratulate every winner for having tried their level best. The girls argued until I was like, yo.
Baja is in the house.
Yeah, in fact, they were giving Nabaja vibes. That was really, really great. Teachers of Hamdan, you're doing that thing. I don't want to waste a lot of time because we've talked about a lot ever since the debate started. But I would like to inform you about our tomorrow's participants who will include University Link and Resilient High. Their debate will take place here in this very room at 10 or from 10 to 12 following the topic or motion. Mandatory digital literacy classes in Uganda's schools are essential for future economic participation. And like I told you earlier, our best losers will be participating tomorrow, and that will be from 2 to 4 in the afternoon.
All right, we have come to the end of the debate, and I have only something to put across to the schools that are coming through to debate. If you are very keen enough, you realize that the submission or the remarks that are coming from the judges, at some point they are actually the same submissions, because the teams that were here yesterday were given, the judges made the same comments about what they are supposed to do.
I think it's because they don't listen to 93.1.
Definitely. So make it a point to listen.
If you had listened to the radio,
yeah,
you couldn't do the same mistake, because I've also taken observation, at least every day, or every student that has been here is being given the same comments. I don't know why, but please, take time and listen to 93.1.
Yeah, so to the patrons and the teachers and the school administrations out there, you take time, maybe educate the learners even more and give them this feedback. They take it in good faith, because if you are looking at winning this particular debate tournament, you're going to have to satisfy the judges, and with that, you don't have to get any questions or any queries from them. Feel free to take in the remarks and be better for winning. I remain Amos Wadada Akram. Assalamu alaikum.
And